The way that most people set goals is actually more harmful than helpful. I get it, you're really ambitious, and for that I 100% commend you for that. But, if you don't set the right goals, what happens is that you go through this vicious cycle of just setting the wrong goals, and as a consequence, not being able to achieve them, and then beating yourself up because you didn't achieve those goals, and then giving up, and then restarting the process all over when you realize again, like, no, I really want to do this, only to set the wrong goal again and just repeat the cycle over and over. Now, the mistake that most people make is that they are results focused rather than action focused. And I remember very distinctly when I was in high school and I was learning how to play guitar. And it was like, the first time I'd ever really, owned my own guitar, and I was taking lessons and stuff like that. I was trying to learn. And, obviously I've seen like great guitarists before in my life that I aspired to. When I was little, I was super obsessed with like Van Halen and Bon Jovi and all that, and seeing them shred on the guitar. I had this image of like, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to play, guitar like that. And I was super results focused rather than action focused, because I was, I didn't know much about learning back then. I was just a high school kid. This was when I was in ninth grade. I was a freshman. So, there was a lot that I had to learn still. And I remember just looking at, even other people like in my class that had been playing guitar for much longer than me, right? And I was seeing like how much better they were at guitar. And I was like, maybe this isn't for me, because, I played this, I pick up this instrument and I can't do what they do, and I was like, oh, well, I own this thing for X number of months and I still can't do this or that. But in reality, I wasn't really focused on the actions, right? I was focused on the results. And because I would look to other people and see that my results were not where I wanted them to be, they weren't as good as X person or, this other person here, then it would be pretty demoralizing. It was hard to stick to. And I had a goal of being able to play, certain songs, and I couldn't play them, right? Because I wasn't focusing on, okay, well, what actions do I need to take so that I can eventually be able to play this song? I was just looking at it like either I can play this song or I can't, and I didn't really have a clear pathway for one thing. That's a whole nother problem there, really. But yeah, this is the mistake that most people make when they set their goals with anything. So the way this could manifest in cybersecurity, right, is just saying like, my goal is to get a job. Okay, cool, but how do you get there? How do you get yourself to where you could actually land a job, get your foot in the door, pass an interview? There's eventually going to come a point in time where you're going to be ready to interview for jobs. And definitely at that point, you're going to want to be armed with the top 10 questions that you need to know to ace a cybersecurity pen testing interview. So check out the description below, and you'll find very detailed answers to all these top 10 interview questions and some additional resources to take it one step further. Here's the thing as well, right? Results, the results that we want, they are merely symptoms of the actions that we take. If you want to really get to the source is the actions. The results, all they are a byproduct of consistent actions that were taken over time. Just like if you equate this to mathematics, right? They often, in a mathematical term they use is the term result, right? Let's say the result is 4. Maybe that was a result of 2 plus 2. Maybe it was 2 times 2, right? Maybe it was 5 times 2 minus 6. So you see, in reality, there's many different actions that could lead to the results that you want, right? So there's many different paths, just like in cybersecurity. There's many different paths of how to become a pen tester, to get the end result of becoming a pen tester. But you just have to take the action. So I know a lot of people, the people that I see especially having a hard time is people that are perfectionists and stuff like that. And you still can get in this field if you're a perfectionist, but you really have to be aware of that and understand when that's holding you back, right? Because what you don't want to do is be super obsessed about the perfect actions, taking the perfect actions to the point that you don't even take any actions at all. I know a lot of people struggle with that. It's one of the most common issues that people run into, right? Because like I was saying earlier, the real world is much messier than mathematics, because there's an infinite number of variables at play almost. with the real world. But our goal is to, as much as possible, just eliminate luck from the game. So how do you eliminate luck from being playing any significant role in your life? You just have to take consistent action, and eventually you will get lucky. One analogy that I've heard back in the day, and this really stuck with me, as being like, this is basically how everything works, right? Is the golden gumball analogy. So if you imagine a gumball machine with a bunch of different, colored gumballs you might see like at a mall or something like that. Now, let's just say, you have a gumball machine like that, and out of that machine, there are only a few, but they are there. There's a few golden gumballs in that machine. And in order to get success, you got to get a golden gumball, right? Now, you might put your first quarter in, turn the knob, and not get a golden gumball. You might do that 5 times and still not get the golden gumball. And success is exactly like this, right? But maybe on your 6th try, maybe on your 99th try, eventually, if you put enough quarters in the machine, you're nearly guaranteed to, you are guaranteed, as long as it's still in the machine, right? You're guaranteed to get that golden gumball. So in that way, we can actually eliminate luck out of the game. How does this translate to real world skills we're trying to acquire, right? Let's say you want to get your first job. You might apply to one job and you didn't get lucky, right? Maybe they had just hired a good candidate and they filled out their positions and they're good, so it was just bad timing on your part. Maybe they just, were really busy that day, the hiring managers, and they are like, this guy doesn't seem qualified enough, so they just moved on without really giving you a fair chance, right? Maybe 1,000 things, right? There's a lot of luck at play there. Now, if you apply to 10 jobs, if you apply to 100 jobs, if you apply to 800 jobs, right? Eventually, you're going to take that luck out of the game, the luck factor out of the game, and eventually you're going to land on that golden gumball, right? You could apply this to anything. If you're going for a certification, you failed it once, you take it again, right? And you take it again, you take it again. Eventually, you will pass it, right? And not even to mention with something like that, you're even on the failed attempts, you're learning every single time, and there's knowledge that you're able to take from there that will last forever for you. So with each attempt, the chance that you pass on the next attempt is actually going up. So just tying this all into goal setting, right? Just to reiterate, you really want to make sure you set your goals on actions rather than the results of the actions. So for example, let's say that your goal is to get a job in the field. Well, what are the things you need to learn, and how much time do you need to spend per day, and on what topics, right? There's, maybe you watch my video, A Proven Path to Get into Cybersecurity, to kind of help you plan that out, right? Maybe you want to let's take something a little bit smaller scale, like maybe you want to earn the, eLearn, EJPT or ECC. These certification names are crazy, but like the ECCPT V2, right? Maybe that's the certification you want to earn. So what you would do for that is you'd figure out, okay, what's the syllabus? How long do I estimate this would take me? If I spend X number of hours a day on this, maybe I don't work on like Sunday or something like that, I'd take a day off each week. How long would it take me? What are the actions I need to do? And you just really break it down, get very clear on that. And your goal should be to spend that much time every single week working towards the certification, right? Because if you're doing the actions, eventually you will get the result. Because you can't control if you pass it or not directly at least, right? Like obviously you can increase the chance you pass it if you put more study time in, but a lot of factors could be at play. Maybe you sit down and it's just not a very good day for you. We all have better days than others. Sometimes we have a bad day, right? Who knows? Maybe your bad day will come during the exam. Maybe you get really nervous during the exam, right? Maybe your internet goes out during the exam time frame. Maybe who knows what could happen, right? So we don't want to focus on that outcome. Obviously, no matter what, we will want the outcome. We're humans, right? But we need to focus when we plan our goals, when we set our goals, we need to set it on the actions. So what you could absolutely control is how many hours you spend every day, what you spend your time on studying, like what areas do you focus on, right? Make those things your goals, things you can directly control. And personally, I found this to be super freeing to me as well, because it really forces you to get clear on what actions you need to take to achieve the desired result. You know, because if you just say like, oh, get this certification or get this job, whatever, it's really vague, really abstract. And if you really want to, if you're serious about achieving that goal, you have to get as specific as possible on what actions you need to take to make that happen. So now that you know how to properly set your goals, let me know down in the comments section what some of your goals might be. I'd love to hear what you guys are working on. And if you want to see a breakdown of where I'm working with someone one-on-one to develop their goals in cybersecurity, check out the video on screen right now, Finding Your Pen Testing Learning Path. I think a lot of that information will be very applicable to all of you guys watching. You can see how you can maybe use this to help come up with what your ideas should be, what your goals should be to help you get to where you want to go. So I'll see you right over in that video. Thanks for watching.